Good. We're all good. Don't fret, yo. All right. Let me restart the Prager U section. All right, Prager U. Who's more radical, the left or the right? I'm gonna run by it really quick. To be radical, you need to oppose the current system. Radical ideas are ideas that go against the system. That's what the definition of radical is. Now, who's more radical, the left or the right? I would say, without a doubt, the left is, by definition, more radical. Why are they more radical? Good question. What's happening? Why are there two cameras? My stream is struggling right now. Anyways, they are more radical because they oppose the current government system, the current political and economic system that we have in place. Now, is this a bad thing? No, it is not. Every idea, the Enlightenment that Prager U and Ben Shapiro so confidently defended and preached, those were radical ideas, and they were the right ideas, and they came from leftist thought. So all of opposing the king and fighting a revolution, so the 13 American colonies could become its own country, that was radical. They were radicals. What are you guys talking about a fan cam? Is this real or is this a joke? I'm kind of concerned either way. Now the right and the alt-right. So when I hear about radicalism on the right, I hear I think about the KKK and alt-right and fascism is a radical line of thought. And fascism, by definition, is radical because it challenges the current systems we have in place. However, the systems we do have in place, and capitalism and late-stage capitalism, will fall into fascism much easier than they would into any type of socialist society. So because of that, I think the left is more radical, but the right, some sections or sectors of the right could be radical. But if I think about groups like the KKK, who are fascist by nature, but their current policies that they want are just to oppress black people, I would not say that that's a radical idea in America. That by definition is not a radical idea, because that doesn't directly stand up and fight the system, because there's a system in place right now that already ensures that that is the case. The KKK and the Proud Boys just want it to be more obvious and clear. So I do not think I'm interested to see in how Prager U defines the idea of being radical, and if they paint it as a good or a evil, because in my eyes, the radical ideas coming from the left are good, as in they will lead us to a more egalitarian society. The radical ideas coming from the right will lead us to fascism. What are Proud Boys and who are they? The Proud Boys are a group, an alt-right group that directly threaten violence. They advocate for violence, they want war, and they want an ethno-state. It's just a hate group. They're terrifying, they're weird. Of course they're capitalists. I mean, yeah. Alright. I'm not saying all capitalists are like, I don't know, freaking hate group. I have 2 video capture devices. That's what's happening. Let's remove one of them. Or at least just hide one of them. There we go. And then we can move this out of the way. Oh crap, I moved the wrong one. Let's lock this one, and then I can move this one. Jesus Christ, why can't I? Hello. Okay, there we go. Let's see what Prager U has to how they define radical and if it's good or not.
There are crazy positions.
Again, this is Will Witt. I went to his Twitter. He retweeted videos of cops arresting Antifa members, which anyone who doesn't like fascism is part of Antifa. So if you disagree with Antifa, it's a little bit telling of your ideologies. He reposted, or he retweeted something that claimed that Black Lives Matter protesters burned a man alive, and I didn't fact check that. But even if that is true, that does not discredit the ideas that a black life has worth. I do think if you burn people, you are a fucker, and I hate you. So let's hear what the worm string eyebrows has to say.
On the far left.
Yeah, committing arson is not epic. Neither is murder, so don't do that. But that's not what he was trying to say. He was trying to say that Black Lives Matter is a terrorist group.
And crazy positions on the far right. On the left, there are people who believe a man can get pregnant.
This is correct. Because when I hear a man can get pregnant, I think instantly about someone who identifies as a man. And they can get pregnant, but I'm sure someone speaking on behalf of Prager U and someone who looks like this believes that a man is someone who is born with a pee-pee. And I think that's the sex they have, but I would not. I believe that people can express their gender however they want. And if someone wants to identify as a man, they can identify as a man, and in that case, a man can get pregnant. That is a radical idea. That goes against the systems we have in place. Is it a bad idea? No, and it's correct.
That the world is going to end in a decade if we don't cap carbon emissions.
This is also true. Denying climate change is embarrassing and terrifying. Please stop.
That the real purpose of the American Revolution was to preserve slavery.
Again, this is also true. He's phrasing these like these are some radical, like crazy liberal ideas, but these are all just facts. And that's the best part about listening to conservatives, is that they present the facts as these terrifyingly crazy radical ideas. And that's why they're so against, they feel like there's an attack on the Republican Party and conservatives by academia, and that's why they like create these conspiracies that academia is like run by the left, and that they're conspiring against conservatives and white people and the great white race, you know. They believe that, and that's why they can't accept these facts, right? Because they have the predisposition that these are just radical ideas, and if they're radical in their minds, you don't need to listen to them. That's the real danger with this, is that once he classifies or once he states that the world is going to end in a decade as a radical idea, even though it's widely accepted that the world will suffer massively, and human populations will suffer because of the melting of the ice caps and global warming. But once you market this idea as radical, it's very, very easy to get people to not support these ideas, because a lot of people aren't necessarily comfortable with supporting radical ideas, whether it is believing and supporting transgenders and advocating for trans rights or climate change. If these ideas are both radical, the moderate will be scared to support them. And by defining these very commonly accepted ideas as radical, you are currently driving a wedge into our ability to have civil discourse and widening it, right? Yeah. Thoughts on the death penalty? I don't think we need the death penalty.
Missions.
The death penalty costs a shit ton of money. And is inhumane.
That the real purpose of the American
Also, 1 in 10 people going sentenced to death are innocent, and the vast majority are black.
Revolution was to preserve slavery.
It was to preserve slavery. See, if this is now a radical idea, it's very easy to get people to fall to the right. Now, what are the radical ideas of the right? Let's find out.
On the right, there are people who deny the Holocaust happened.
Yeah. That is true. You know why? Because they followed this line of thinking that this is radical. And once you already believe in these types of conspiracies, once you have a mindset that will believe in conspiracies, it's very easy to keep believing in conspiracies. That's a massive problem with the right, and that's why the whole QAnon is terrifying, because all these people believe this conspiracy. They will believe everything. They will believe any conspiracy that's thrown at them. Again, John Oliver had a great episode on conspiracies, and they are truly a threat to our democracy. Once you get people believing that these ideas are radical, they start subscribing to conspiracy theories. And then you follow that path and you get to Holocaust denials. And it all starts with a Prager U video or a SJW gets wrecked video.
Who believe that whites are inherently superior to other races.
Yeah, I would argue that if you're conservative, you have a little bit of that mindset. This is not this is not a radical idea. This idea that whites are inherently superior to other races is not fundamentally radical, because America was based off of this idea, and our economy grew off of this idea, and this idea is very alive today. Even we were talking about this before, but in the medical field, the fact that some doctors have biases that black people have a higher pain tolerance, there are a lot of people who believe that whites are inherently superior to other races in government. So this, by definition, is not a radical idea. But again, when you frame it as a radical idea from the right, it lets the people who, it allows people like this, what's his name? Will Witz or Will Hitz or whatever. Bye, Ali. I've been live for like 2 hours and 30 minutes, so this is a long stream. I haven't peed once. It allows people like him to distance himself from, I'm assuming, claims that he's going to make later that will suggest that he believes in these radical ideas. They always do this. They always have to start their video by saying, oh, there are some people on the right who believe that white people are better than black people. And they start by saying that to give themselves the perception of innocence. They do not believe, but in reality they are. They do face these mindsets.
That no one should pay taxes. But there's
What?
Are inherently superior to other races. That no one
should pay taxes. I honestly, I don't know much about this theory. I haven't heard this. Are there radical conservatives that believe that no one should pay taxes? Oh, guys. Guys. Y'all so nice. I can't believe you guys. Damn. Y'all too sweet. I don't know about this. I mean, this is definitely radical that people shouldn't pay taxes. I mean, but then again, man, I don't know. I don't want to get into this because I don't think I'm educated enough. I mean, I would say there's a bunch of like CEOs and billionaires who basically don't pay taxes.
Should pay taxes. But there's an important difference between these two extremes.
Yeah, one extreme. Let's not call them extremes. The important difference is that the crazy positions on the left are positions that will lead us to an egalitarian society, and they directly oppose the current systems that we have, and our current beliefs, because that's what radical means. And they are all factually correct. And the crazy positions on the right just want an ethno-state and will lead you to fascism. So I want to see what the differences are.
The crazies on the right have no voice. They are shunned.
No. No. That's not... They have a very big voice. They have a very upsettingly large voice. A very, 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 very large voice. Look at his tongue. He looks like a frog. So, full stop. They have the strongest voice they've had in a very, very long time.
They live mostly on the far fringes of the internet.
Okay. The reason we shun white supremacists, and I don't think I need to... because, okay. If you believe in your heart of hearts that all people should be entitled to live a life of freedom, the pursuit of happiness and liberty, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, if you believe in that, then you also have to believe that threats to this should be shunned, and they shouldn't have a voice. Because once they get a voice, and once they are allowed to become mainstream, right, they will take the idea of free speech, advocate for it, and say, we live in a country where we can have free speech. Why am I getting shunned? Why am I getting kicked off these platforms? Why do I have to hide in the fringes of the internet? They will, the second they get that, they will rip it away from everyone else. That's what fascists do. They advocate for free speech and without regulations, because once they can get it, and once they have the power and the support, they can take it away from everyone else. That's what we did in Germany. I don't mean we like me, I mean like fascists. That's what they did in Germany. I'm not a fascist, I swear. This is all good. There are certain people, and think about it this way. Rapists should be incarcerated for their crimes. Why? Because they actively make the lives of people around them worse and rob them of the ability to live a life of freedom and happiness, right? So because of that, we have laws that prevent their actions. Now, these actions should be shunned because we don't want rapists feeling comfortable with the fact that they can rape and get away with it. Now, on the same note, this dude right here just said that he wished, what's her name? Elaine Maxwell or whatever, that she's doing well. He wishes her well. That is actively allowing or undoing this. That's making rapists mainstream and starting to make them acceptable. So because I believe that I know I am a closet fascist. Hate to break it to you. Because I believe that everyone should be able to live a happy and free life, and experience the liberties that everyone else can experience. People who actively fight that should be shunned and should not have a voice. I need a pee. Give me like 2 seconds. Yeah, I hate that name. I have no idea how to pronounce it. Wait, let me go on mute. Wow. I had to pee so badly. Guys, I love everyone in this chat. Jessica, you said it. Alright, fuck. I don't want to have like hour-long YouTube videos. Whew. Let's get into it. What's the difference? What are the crazy left positions?
The crazies on the left have a loud voice.
Yes.
They are celebrated. They live in the halls of Congress, in state legislatures, and in governor's mansions.
So you'd be surprised because these motherfuckers also live in state legislations, and the halls of Congress, and in governor's mansions. I hope you wash your hands. Of course I wash my hands. Dude, we're in COVID. This is stupid. I don't know what the argument is here. This is just a bad argument that the idea of saving our planet isn't, it's not even like, it's incorrect and stupid and a waste of my time.
In light of this,
because one side wants everyone to live like equally and be egalitarian. So that, stop making me look behind myself. Stop. I don't like when you guys do this. Guys, I wash my hands. Guys, can I just get to this video? I don't like that. I don't like that. What is that noise though? It was like banging metal beams together outside my window. Alright, I hate y'all. Just kidding, I love you, but freaking me out. There's nothing behind me. No, we're just not gonna watch the rest of the video. And we'll just end it right now. Stream's over. I'm kidding. Yeah, so wanting ideas that will better everyone, including conservatives, to have a loud voice and to be celebrated and to be in the halls of Congress is a good thing. And that's the thing, because these ideas that he brought up in the beginning of the radical left ideas of knowing history and believing in science and respecting academia. Yeah, I don't know what's going on outside. I think my dad's building something. God, man. Guys, I washed my hands. I was just on mute. I muted my microphone so you can't hear anything. These ideas. Oh my god, what's happening? What's going on? Anyways, god damn it. My meds are wearing off. I can't focus right now. We aren't really celebrated. People make fun of AOC. Exactly. I'm gonna lose my shit. What's happening outside? My dad's literally just putting like massive hollow metal poles on a wire. He's literally making just like a giant like wind chime. God damn it. You guys chat? Really? Come on. Damn, y'all together? You guys are strong. Oh my, I'm so annoyed. Why is he doing this right now? Okay, what is he? Alright, anyways. Progressive ideas should be celebrated because they're all based in fact and they all better the future. But what he did is he preempted this by saying those ideas are radical, and because they are radical, they should not be allowed to have a voice. He's equating the radical right ideas to the radical left ideas. One of them leads us to fascism, and one of us leads us to egalitarianism, which are polar opposites. And he's saying that these two radical ideas are equal and they should be treated equally. So he's saying if the right has their radical ideas being shunned and no voice, then the left should as well, and vice versa. That's what he's saying, and that is incorrect and terrifying, because the radical right ideas will ensure that no one, if it gets to the point, will have a voice. There's a reason these guys are shunned and have to be shunned, because they pose a threat to everyone's freedom, right and left. The chat is strong, united. I know, kind of scary.
Congress, in state legislatures, and in governors' mansions. In light of this distinction, it might be interesting to ask ourselves this question: which group, the left or the right, is more radical?
I already answered this. It's the left. It's not a bad thing, though. He talks about it like it's a bad thing.
We can arrive at a common sense answer by posing this thought experiment.
Common sense.
What would America look like if the left got everything it wanted, and what would America look like if the right got everything it wanted?
What? Common sense answer. Common sense answer. So this is a little thought experiment he's gonna do, completely ignoring probably all of science and academia and everything good and right in the world. And we're strap in for a very heavily feelings-based argument. We're not letting go of you not washing your hands. Yeah, so my thoughts on free speech really quick is that it has to be regulated just like everything else. It has to be regulated, because if it's not, it will allow for the rise of fascists to get control, and once they do get control, and they'll get control by advocating for free speech. Libertarians and fascists advocate heavily for free speech, but once they get it, they'll strip it away from everyone else. That's how they work. That's exactly what happened in Germany. All right, let's listen to this guy's little thought experiment. I washed my hands. You guys suck. Let's listen to what his opinions are on what America would look like if the left got everything it got, the right got everything it's got. What America would look like if the right got everything it wanted would be America now, with just probably without the Civil Rights Act going anywhere. If the left, oh boy, we might have like speed rails and like no carbon emissions and like fucking hovercrafts probably.
Let's start with the left.
Okay.
Taxes would go up on individuals and
taxes would go up on the top of wealthiest of individuals.
Corporations.
And the corporations that are exploiting workers, making the most money. Because you make more money the more workers you exploit. So yes, those corporations would be taxed, and so would the top 1%. In addition, actually I have nothing to add, but it's not everyone. When someone on the right hears this, they think that themselves specifically will be taxed. Watch them live or it didn't happen. Oh my god, you guys are awful. High speed rail me, Jesus Christ. So yeah, individuals, but a select group of individuals would be taxed higher. The more money you make, the higher taxes you pay. Bye, Jessica. Thank you. No, Jessica was here the longest. You deserve to leave. Bye, Jess. Oh, bold. All right, let's get through this video. I do want to go outside later today.
For more social programs.
Yes.
Everything from universal childcare
yes.
to free college tuition.
Yes. Like, what's his opposition to this?
Many on the left call for income taxes as high as 70%.
On the richest of them all. They were higher in like before like Reagan. How high the top percent of tax before Reagan. I think it was like fucking 75% before Reagan. During the first year of Reagan's presidency, the federal income tax rates were lowered significantly. Yeah, the Economic Recovery Tax Act of 1981, which lowered the top marginal tax bracket from 70% to 50%, and the lowest bracket to 14 to 11. Yeah, so it was. If we wanted this, we'd be going back in time, yo.
Private health insurance would be abolished.
Yes.
The government would provide all healthcare services.
Yeah.
Everyone in the medical field, from doctors, nurses, and administrators, would be government employees.
Yeah, and if you have a government that's capable of handling this, it works fine, and it does work fine. Look at any country that has universal health care. They're chilling.
Americans would pay.
Yeah, the graphics that they use are so funny. I don't know why, but they're always very entertaining.
For this government health care through much higher taxes.
Shut up about the taxes. See, this is the only thing they have to debate these views. They're just like, oh, but the taxes will go up. Probably not on you. Oh, maybe you, because probably make a shit ton of money working for Prager U. But that's they advocate, they say they're like, Republicans claim to like want to help the Americans in like rural America who are just like paycheck to paycheck. They're like the Democrats are going to come and raise your taxes and the progressives are going to raise your taxes. But the people saying that are usually very, very rich. No, bye Alicia, love you. So sad. I'm gonna post this on YouTube later so you can catch up. That's so sad though. But the people who are actually gonna get taxed more are the people advocating and warning the general public about the higher taxes, because they are funded by like think tanks and super PACs and making a lot of money, a lot of money. So it's only a direct threat to them. And in chat, I forgot who said it, Republicans only care about themselves, not the general public.
Illegal immigration would be decriminalized.
Yes. And it would help our economy so much. Yeah. Well, not first, like baby steps. Let's talk about baby steps. Immigrants would be given the chance to seek asylum. We're not even letting them do that at the moment, right? We scoot them up at the border and put them in this like legal gray zone of not being imprisoned, but not because they haven't done anything wrong. but also not being given the chance to file for asylum. Under the Obama administration, these camps existed. Families weren't split up, but they were more of just a holding area for people to get their asylum papers ordered, and then be given a visa, an immigration visa, and then try to become a citizen, right? So we would have to, like, also the highest number of illegal immigrants are people who've overstayed their visa. So it's not like at the border. That's not what the problem is. I'm gonna keep it up with the fairy comments until he notices me. Ali, I notice you. The prison system should be for violent crimes, not non-violent crimes. Yeah, I mean, I guess that's like fair. We need rehabilitation centers. Yeah, exactly. No one should go to prison for drugs. Ever. Prisons are so bad for your mental health. Imagine like putting someone through withdrawals from being addicted to drugs and then throwing them into a prison system. It's terrifying. Anyway, sorry, we need to focus. Illegal immigration would be decriminalized. Yes, it would, and it would help our economy. Conservatives believe in this theory that, like, if all these illegal immigrants come, like, they'll get all the jobs and we won't get, and Americans won't get any of the jobs. True Americans. And to that I say, what constitutes an American? And usually their subconscious they mean white people. But in reality, the more people coming into a country, the more job opportunities there are. They don't soak up the jobs, they create more jobs. Think about it this way. When there's a highway in Texas that is the most crowded highway in America, right? Traffic is horrible. So what they did is they just made it bigger. They just expanded it, and they allowed more cars onto it, thinking, oh, this should free up traffic. It did not. It just allowed more people to drive. So the roads got bigger and more cars were put on the road. That's exactly what would happen with the job market. More people start more businesses, create more jobs, more people come in to take those jobs, and now everyone's getting more jobs. The only people hurt by immigration are previous immigrants. Bye, Alicia.
It would still be illegal to enter the country without proper documentation, but...
Yeah. If you're not able to seek asylum... I think Canada just voted, like their version of the Supreme Court just voted that America is not a safe place to go if you're an asylum seeker. What happened to this, like, give us your huddled masses? We were literally just classified by Canada as not a place you want to go if you are trying to seek asylum. Anyways. But, Ali, really? I can't say that out loud. So we need to allow people the chance to seek asylum before we lock them up and split their families up.
No one who made it into the U.S. would be prosecuted for doing so.
Good. Because that, like, again, these ideas would be bringing us back to a time before right now.
Legal immigrants would also receive free healthcare, free education, and...
Yes, and then they could, like, join and be productive in our society, right? That's a huge conservative talking point, is that immigrants are just coming in and, like, not gonna help us. But if we provide God, what was it, FDR? I think FDR or during just like the progressive era, we instituted and funded like halfway houses where immigrants and drug addicts basically could go to be, and ex-cons would come to America or be released from prison or whatever, and they would be given a place to stay, and then they would find themselves a job, and they would provide education and welfare and healthcare to their families, and then they could go out and join our American society, you know? So the funding, healthcare and school, and housing for immigrant families would hugely benefit everyone, because this family, instead of having to spend their money on education, or instead of having to spend their money paying rent, living check to check, and God forbid one of them gets hurt or sick, now they need to pay for medical bills. If they don't have those tying them down, they are able to open a business, right? They're able to get jobs. They're able to participate in society and participate in our economy. So it's the hypocrisy, because a lot of progressive ideas are giving conservatives what they want, but they never accept it, because that's not actually what they want. They don't care about the economy. They want a fucking ethno-state.
Free housing. The Green New Deal would be adopted.
Yes.
Hundreds.
Oh my God. I talk about this all the time. The Green New Deal is just a runoff, an extension of the New Deal, which saved us from the Great Depression, provided a shit ton of jobs, and was why we have so many government organizations now, because it provided jobs to people who couldn't get them because we were in a depression. The Green New Deal is just that, but environmentally friendly. So instead of government, instead of I think logging was one of them, or the government would provide jobs in literally deforestation, and building trails and all of that. This would just provide jobs in building wind turbine fields and all, environmentally friendly stuff. Powered electric rails, everything, It would provide jobs and help the economy so much.
Of billions of dollars of subsidies for wind and solar power would be added to the federal budget.
Yes.
Drilling for fossil fuels, the current source of 80% of our energy, would be sharply curtailed or eliminated altogether.
Yes.
So would nuclear power.
I don't know about that one. This right here, the only reason this is still as big as it is today is because the people who own these corporations bought our government.
As a result, consumers' electric bills would be much higher.
No, not as a result.
Reparations would be paid for the past injustice.
Yeah, maybe your electric bill would be higher, but no, I don't know enough to argue this, but I'm going to just assume that there's a lot more that goes into it than just the consumer's electric bill would be a lot higher.
Consumers' electric bills would be much higher. Reparations would be paid for the past injustice of slavery.
Yes! Yes! Yes, let's do it. Let's do it. Why not? Oh, because taxes would be too high. Dude, we literally took black people from their homes, forced them to build our economy, and now we prevent them from taking part in it. They should be allowed to take part and start from the same footing we white people. Also, I've talked about this before, but generational wealth is the main way people accumulate wealth. You have the rare cases of people coming from nothing and starting a company and the whole American dream and building up their empire. But for the vast majority of Americans, their wealth comes from their family. So when you have wealthy plantation owners who were able to pass down their wealth for generations and generations, but you have slaves who never had any wealth to start with. The second they got wealth, it was taken away from them. They were redlined into poor neighborhoods. They weren't. They were then criminalized for being black. What's the quote? You get the hippies addicted to weed, and you get the blacks addicted to crack, and you criminalize them both heavily, right? You split up their families. Slave owners got reparations after the Civil War. During Reconstruction, we literally were just like, oh, sorry guys for burning your fields. Here's a shit ton of money so you can get back to work. Also, we made it so you guys can re-enslave slaves. Reparations have to happen if we want to become egalitarian. They have to happen. Georgetown University was partially built by slaves. Now, but because it was a Jesuit school and a Jesuit organization, they had their slaves all get married, and they made them like legit like weddings. So they kept tracks of all of the slaves, and now any descendant of a slave who helped build to build Georgetown University gets a free scholarship, can go to Georgetown to study for free. Is that the best way to go about reparations? I don't know. It's complicated. We can't just give them like a shit ton of money. But we need to reparations for slavery need to be paid in ways that benefit their communities and allow their communities to look like my community.
How it would be paid and exactly to whom is not clear.
Black people. What do you mean to whom?
Legally acquiring a gun would become much more difficult.
Yes.
College debt would be canceled.
I love how he just said it would be difficult, and he didn't have an argument on why that's bad. It doesn't fix problems, but it helps. Yeah. No, reparations help. It's like, this is not my analogy, but it's like, we were running a race, right? White people and black people. We shot the black runner in the fucking feet twice, and then we like took off, and then like fucking like I don't know, like 4 miles. How many miles is a marathon? I don't know. We're running like a 10-mile race at the fucking like 50-mile running a 10-mile race at the 5-mile marker. I'm at the 5-mile marker. The black guy's still at like the 2-mile marker. There's a medic who comes up to like try to like take the bullet out of the black guy's foot, and is like, oh shit, dude, you're fucked. All right, the bullet's out of his foot. That's good. We put a band-aid on it. The bleeding stopped. He's running, but he still has like a bullet wound in his foot. He can't run that good. So now, when he like asked for like, he's like, hey, dude, can we like time out, please? Like, let me just like fix my foot. Like it'll be fine. Just like real quick. I want to make sure like I'm okay. Maybe some like pain meds or something so I can finish this race. And I'm like, hey, no. Now, we took the bullet out of your foot. Stop complaining and run the race, motherfucker. We're in this together. See, we're all equal. We're all running the same race. Why can't you do it, right? I can do it. This motherfucker can do it. It's like a black guy who didn't get shot in the foot because like he immigrated from, I don't know, fucking Nigeria, because he's like well educated and like a rich guy. I'm like, well, he's running. Well, why can't you run? You know, that's what we're doing to black people, and we don't pay for reparations. So I just do it, you know. The bullet's still there. Well, even if you take the bullet out and you just slap a band-aid on it, it's hard to run.
Those who had already paid for college would get nothing.
Oh, okay.
Transgender women, biological men who identify as women, would be allowed to compete against women in sports. America's college would get nothing. Transgender women, biological men who identify as women, would be allowed to compete against.
See, my thoughts on this are confusing. I don't really know how I... Damn, look at that hair. That's very good hair growth for someone undergoing. Damn. I'm not sure my opinions on this. I haven't done much research.
Against women in sports.
Damn,
America's
that hair.
military budget would be slashed by 25
Yes. Oh my god, yes it
to
would.
50%.
Why do we need that? What are we doing? What freedoms are being what of my freedoms are being protected when like a 18-year-old kid who just needs a job and healthcare dies for our country? Yeah, I've been streaming for so long. Like what of my freedoms are protected when that happens? People join the military for a few reasons. They're patriotic. That's one. They need healthcare, they need education, or they need a sense of community and family. Those are the main reasons people join the military. The military at the moment is the best example of like public healthcare / education, because they but you need to risk your life for your country to do it, right? That's the price you pay if you want a quick and easy way to get healthcare.
Speech codes would be
Yeah, what are my freedoms doing in Afghanistan? I don't fucking know. Think about this. Why is the lifespan of a transgender woman so short? Because they get killed by men. I'm confused. My freedom's not in the Middle East. My freedom is not oil. And it sucks because like kids like my age who like don't have anything and need some sort of base and foundation and a structure in their life and healthcare and education join the military.
Enforced throughout American life.
My what?
And that's just a percent. Speech codes would be enforced throughout American life.
Here's the kicker. I knew he was going to talk about free speech. Speech codes would be enforced so people who spout propaganda that take away egalitarian rights wouldn't be allowed to do that.
That's just a partial list.
Oh,
now
a partial list. Oh.
Would be enforced throughout American life. And that's just a partial
Yeah, I mean, we could do a lot more than just that.
List. Now
your brother joined the Middle East, or joined the military because of education. Yeah, that's sad. Yeah, exactly. If education and healthcare were free, not a lot of people would be in the military. That's a huge factor of why we aren't doing that. But we don't need to do that. Yo, doesn't Canada have like no military?
Now let's ask what would happen if the right got what it wanted.
What we have now, but with more racism.
Income taxes would be cut.
What?
Capital gains taxes would be cut.
I don't know enough about taxes to talk about this, sorry.
Corporate taxes would be cut. And
Yes.
those cuts would be made permanent. All regulations that make doing business unnecessarily difficult and don't protect public health would be repealed. The issue of abortion would be sent back to the states for each state to decide its...
Look at the states that approve abortion. That's funny. I love living here. God, I fuck. What is he talking about?
Business unnecessarily difficult and don't protect public health.
I don't know what he's advocating for.
Health would be repealed. The issue of abortion would be sent back to the states for each state to decide its own abortion.
Yeah, exactly. So states' rights, that's what he's saying, which is a pretty, like, he says these are like the radical ideas, but these are only radical because a few people in our government have good morals.
Rules for itself. Many more charter schools would be opened, and it would become
That'd be a
much
huge
easier
problem.
to fire bad teachers.
I don't know about that. I know about that. I go to a private school. I have a few bad teachers.
Many more charter schools would be opened, and it would become much easier to fire.
And the reason it's hard in public schools is because there's not enough attention to them. Our public schools are so underfunded, especially in communities that are low income, because obviously the funding comes from your taxes on your house, on property tax. They really only care about taxes, bro. I know, for real.
Fire bad teachers. In order to vote, citizens would need to present a valid ID.
Yeah, this is literally voter suppression, and because statistically speaking, this hand right here would have a much more difficult time getting that valid ID. This is voter suppression. The Supreme Court said that requiring IDs in South Carolina they said that this law targeted minorities with surgical accuracy. It's a bold statement coming from the Supreme Court, because in South Carolina, conservatives and Republicans literally Googled, like, what's the hardest ID for black people to get, and they said those IDs are necessary if you want to vote. So yeah, these are not radical. See, this idea is not radical because it's currently in place.
The border with Mexico would be secured.
Also in place.
The only way to enter the United States would be through designated border crossings. In order to qualify for welfare assistance, you would have to prove you could not work. The healthcare system would be...
See, this, like, in order to qualify for healthcare, you need to prove that you cannot work. If you are a immigrant living in this country, and you fear that, to no fault of your own, that if you expose yourself to the government, your parents could get deported, you are less likely to try to prove that you need welfare. So that,
for welfare assistance, you would have to prove you could not work.
So their take on welfare assistance is like, you can only get welfare if you're homeless, basically, or if you are actually unemployed, because a lot of people who get unemployed look for part-time jobs, right, in the meantime. But if you're on a part-time job, you can't qualify for welfare. With the COVID relief bill, I was listening to a woman say, like, so I'm currently on the relief. I get, it's like, what is it, $600 a week. And she goes, I got fired. I was thinking about looking for part-time jobs, but if I get a part-time job, I won't be able to qualify for this. So putting more restrictions on how to qualify for welfare will hurt the economy a lot more than just allowing everyone to be on it. Because what conservatives believe is happening is that they are, if we have a welfare state, people won't be incentivized to go to work. But the exact opposite is happening, because when we have so many restrictions on it, people aren't being incentivized because their only option, they have to pick between the two. Yeah, I have healthcare. I'm privileged in many, many ways. Healthcare is one of them.
The healthcare system would be open to free market reforms.
Free market reforms? No. Capitalism is... Free market reforms has brought us insulin that costs like $1,000.
For example, insurance companies could sell policies across state lines. Students in elementary school would recite the Pledge of Allegiance at the start of each school day.
It's a little fascist, right? Wouldn't you guys agree? Wouldn't you guys agree? Yeah, that was my brother. A little fascist.
So what can we conclude from our experiment? It's not hard.
Well, first of all, this was completely facts over feelings. I mean, sorry, feelings over facts. I didn't see a single source. I didn't see a single statistic. Just like, well, I guess progressives want all this stuff, and all conservatives, they want this stuff. All this stuff is already in place. That's the issue. Most of the stuff, not all of this stuff, is not in place. So at the end of the day, the left is more radical, but the left also wants everyone to have equal opportunities. The right is is the system we currently have, besides a few minor tweaks, I'm assuming, to our taxes. They just want to stay that way because, again, progressives progress and conservatives conserve.
Hard to figure out. If the right got everything it wanted, the government would get much smaller. The citizen would have more freedom. If the left got everything it wanted, the government would get much bigger. The citizen would have less freedom.
This is a lie, because the second the government sends federal troops to quell rioters in cities, you guys seem to be all for that. The second a government starts restricting human rights that you disagree with, you guys tend to drop this line of thinking.
You're not radical if you want America to be what it's always been.
Ah, there it is. That's what I was looking for. That's what I was looking for. Throughout this entire video, the idea of radicalism has been presented as something scary, something you should avoid. He presents the right's idea of radicalism, which is exactly what it is right now, and then says, don't feel bad for thinking this way. That's not actually radical. That was the end. Saying, basically, the thesis of this entire video was to get, or the point of this video was to get the conservatives watching to distance themselves from the radical left policies that would, statistically speaking, help them out just as much as it would help everyone else out. And then frame the radical conservative, the radical right ideas as something that's actually acceptable because it's how America always has been. Also, if you remember the beginning of the video,
on the right, there are people who deny the Holocaust happened.
Didn't talk about that once.
Who believe that whites are inherently superior to other races. That no one should pay taxes.
He didn't talk about this once. When he talked about what the ideal, what the future, or when he talked about what America would look like if the right got everything he wanted, he did not for an instant bring up Holocaust denials, or the fact that, or the idea that white people are inherently better than black people, or he really only talked about so what do you
to other races. That no one should pay.
Yeah, he only talked about the taxes. That was the only thing he brought up. He did not talk about race. He did not talk about the Holocaust. He only talked about taxes throughout the entire video. This is, first of all, incorrect. It is purely propaganda because it's distancing pretty liberal but progressive left policies and claiming that they are radical and going to come for your taxes. And then he described the current right policies that are in place today, without the mention of the racism and the anti-Semitism. And he framed it as, oh, they're only radical because in America that they're being shunned and they have no voice. So now everyone leaving this video believes that everyone advocating for charter schools and everyone saying voter ID law, that we should have IDs to vote, and everyone's saying that healthcare should be private. Now the viewers think that these ideas are being shunned and that these ideas live on the fringes of the internet, when in reality these are the ideas that are in
halls of Congress,
the halls of Congress and the state legislatures, whatever. Jesus Christ, I can't talk. And the governor's mansions. Those are the ideas that are currently being implemented. Propaganda, man. Let me dislike this video. Fuck them. What do the comments say? When I heard far left at the beginning, I thought he was going to talk about communism. Then he talked about a man getting pregnant. True! Honestly, this motherfucker with the anime thing gets it. I don't think they're arguing the point I'm arguing. But the far left would be like a fucking like anarchist or like a socialist, I guess, or a communist. Why didn't he address the Holocaust and the ethnostate at the end? Exactly. This is too black and white. Oh my god, wow, these comments are shocking. Aww. The radical left he presents actually seems pretty nice for the most part. For real, bro. Yeah, fuck these. This video sucks. The comments are better than I thought they'd be. When I heard far left at the beginning, I thought, it's like, yeah, exactly. Like, this is funny because, like, this is not radical. Love it. I love to see it. It's too black and white. Agreed. Although he cites white nationalism and neo-Nazis as far-right positions, but when he has to discuss the right would do if it were in power, he conveniently forgets all about them. Yes. So the white supremacists, who he admitted are the only right. Yep. This is biased at the least. At the very least. Damn. Yo, comment section. Based. Yeah, I'm surprised by these comments. Wow, you really glossed over the Holocaust denial. Oh my god. Yes, bro. Based. Based, Marlene. I choose no C. Oh my god. Oh man. I did not expect I'd be this happy in a Prager U's comment section. Man, I love it. Love it. Thanks, Prager U. Man. These comments. Oh, I'm glad to see they're not all like stupid. Is this a promotional video for the left? Because it seems like it. Bruh, I wish. Well, this is propaganda for the right. They're bad at propaganda. I thought they were better. Weren't they like really good at propaganda? I see. Wanting an ethno-state is just as extreme as recognizing trans people's identity and believing in climate change. Thank you very much, Prager U. You are batshit crazy. I feel like I already know Prager's answers. Proceeds to have a video with Owen Benjamin. Oh, true. Man. These comments, yo. Base as fuck. Alright. Ooh, can you talk about anti-Semitism? I don't know too much. I mean, I know what it is. Basically, anti-Semitism on the far right stems entirely from the JQ, or the Jewish question, which essentially is this conspiracy that Jews are in control of media and the Jews are in control of government, pushing these progressive agendas that, and like promoting like, I don't know, fucking black people kissing white people in movies to try to eradicate the white race. That's what the JQ is, and that's kind of where and that's why conspiracies are so dangerous to our democracy, because if you can believe in a few conspiracies, if you start believing a bit of conspiracy, you will very likely end up falling to the JQ. Anyways, that's the stream. 3 hours and 17 minutes. Guys, that was so much fun. Minecraft in the future. I might stream every other day. I know. I wish there was like a Twitter. Oh, I do have Twitter. What's my Twitter? I don't remember my Twitter. I need to pick up Indian food. I'm so excited. Thank you all very much for hanging out. I appreciate it. This was a lot of fun for me. I think I was hopefully more coherent in my thoughts and in my words. What a fun time. Conservatives are stupid. All right. Peace, yo. I'll try to stream every other day. I'll post on TikTok. Can you like turn notifications on? Because I don't want to like annoy my TikTok followers. Oh yeah, people who believe in ethnostates have a very large voice. All right. The day after tomorrow will be my birthday. Oh no way. All right, birthday stream for Allie. Day after tomorrow. Let me see my schedule. That's Saturday. Yo, I'm free Saturday. What do we say? 1 p.m. Stream 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Allie, that's gonna be late for you. All right, thank you all so much. Go like the video on YouTube once it's out. You don't even need to watch it. Just like the interaction's good for it. I appreciate it. I'll see y'all later. Keep learning. Go watch videos by Knowing Better on YouTube. He's great. Yeah, the bells stopped chiming, thank God. Watch Knowing Better on YouTube. Excellent YouTuber. All right, 6 p.m. Allie. I'll see you there on your birthday. Bye, y'all.